Welcome to a brand new episode of TVGP's Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpear.
Hi, I don't know why, but I expected you to say a brand new season then, despite the fact that we are not done with this season.
Brand
I
new
don't know why.
mid-season episode of Critical Misses. We're
Uh-huh.
we're here to talk about Ghost's third album, 2015's Meliora, and like we talked about last time, we're just getting into it. There's no part one on this one. Part one was we listened to the album, and now we're here to talk about it, the album. All right, let's start off
Uh-huh.
with Spirit, the very first track here, which I wrote. I'm surprised we didn't have a Ghost track about Absinthe already by the time their third album comes around. Uh, that's a
Why
that,
absinthe?
I don't. It feels very Ghost-like. This kind of like dreamy.
The green, like the green fairy,
Yeah,
like Moulin Rouge kind of absinthe kind of thing.
yeah. It feels very kind of Ghost, otherworldly. Um,
Okay.
I like this track. It's not one of my favorites, but I like this track um, quite a bit. I think it's a really strong intro to the album. Of there isn't a long sort of choral intro to this album. We're getting right into it uh, for this
Uh-huh.
one. What do you think about Spirit here?
It's a very interesting start because it's another instrumental, but it's not a long instrumental. It's not rather, no, this is the wrong song I'm looking at here. This is from the other thing. Okay, never mind. I really did like the ghostly start, like lol.
Yep.
I actually wrote lol in my notes. Um, and the drums and the guitar riff building in is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things is the flow switch where he goes like most of the song is delivered in long, slow words.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the middle of like the chorus or wherever, he'll do little faster pace
Mm-hmm.
delivery of it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the intro of this one. I meant to look it up. I am fairly sure it's a Rhodes machine in the intro of this. Whenever you hear that ghostly like woo sort of thing, like Portishead's entire one album, it's always that Rhodes machine where it's the two metal rods, and depending on how close your hands are to it, makes it that kind of ghostly, uh, eerie noise. I think that works really
Uh-huh.
well for this track especially, and another one of those things of like, yeah, of course it's on a Ghost track. Finally, next song here, From the Pinnacle to the Pit. This also had a music video that is fine. Definitely not the one to run out and watch. That's a future track here. Um, I really like this track. They said going into this album they wanted to focus on guitars sort of in the forefront as opposed to the last album, which was a little bit more
Uh-huh.
kind of like organ and keyboard focused. And man, they kind of come out of the gate really strong with this one. I think this is easily one of my top 10 out of all time Ghost tracks. Um, what do you think about this one?
I really like this one, and it also is the wonderful nature of the whole Hail Satan nature of it too. I
Mm-hmm.
like the fact that it's like, no, like this isn't a story of rebellion. This is a tragedy. Like
Right.
this is as someone who has unfortunately been steeping himself in a lot of Judeo-Christian media recently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's one of those things where I'm just like, okay, yeah, I like it when they do the twist like this. I really
Yeah.
do.
And I think this is one of the strongest that we've heard so far. One of the strongest vocal performances from him in the chorus. His voice is way stronger in this album, and
Oh yeah, and the delivery on the pinnacle to the pit, there's a lot of hard P's in there.
oh, it's so good. This has to be. I unfortunately have never seen Ghost live, but this has to be a track that kind of brings down the house every time. I bet. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Oh, the video for that kind of continues or starts the kind of same art style we saw in Square Hammer. They're kind of like a 1-2 kind of two sides of the same coin sort of thing. It's a fine video. Next track here, personally, it's Cerise. Personally, I think top 5 all-time Ghost track. This is
Well, this is the best song. This is the best song on this album, easy.
oh, hands down. Yeah, I this is like there is a more love song later in the in the album, maybe from more of like a traditional nature, but I really like this as kind of the antithesis to kind of the Catholic Christian sort of like, you are the fire and brimstone, like you are innately a sinner, you are innately kind of flawed and broken.
The whole original sin concept,
Exactly.
kind of thing.
And the kind of the other side of it of like, no man, you know who thinks you're pretty cool? Satan. He thinks you're great. How's that sound? I think the intro to this is incredible. I think his vocal performance is great here. The stomp 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 of the guitars and the drums at the same time gets me every single time. I don't think I realized how much I liked it until I watched some live footage of this, and watching the guitarists do the stomp with their foot when they do that. Those 3 notes is so good. Also, here's a slight additional piece of homework for someone. Please go watch a live version of this song from basically any place you can on YouTube, because it usually starts out with the 2 guitarists doing a guitar battle, and it'll be like one person plays the main riff from like Pantera's Walk, and then the other guitarist plays something kind of crummy, and then the other one plays like Enter Sandman, and the other one plays kind of crummy, and then whichever one wins, eventually they do this like this kind of big build up, and then they bust right into Cerise, and as soon as you hear those opening notes, just like, oof, here we go. This is the stuff. I agree with you. I think this is the best track on the album. I think this is also maybe one of my favorite Ghost videos as well too. If you haven't seen it,
it's definitely a cool video.
Yeah, a kid version of Ghost in like in the makeup and the Nameless Ghoul outfits, playing at basically like a school event, and
it's like a kid's talent show.
Yeah, basically, and like whoever they have playing the kid version of Papa just nails it in this whole video. It wouldn't work as well if that kid didn't 100% nail this performance. It's so good. I can't.
It's great.
This is the track I go to whenever I think like, man, I want to listen to some Ghost. I'm always like, yeah, I could go for some Cerise. It's like 6 minutes. Let's do it. Oh man.
Yeah, and like I love the theme of this song too. Like, yeah, it's one of my favorite themes in music and everything. It's like, as someone who is inherently broken, it is okay to be broken.
Right.
Like you're not lesser of a human because you are broken.
Exactly.
Like, it is fine to be that. I'm probably going to get hate from Mackie for this, but I really like the movie Garden State. I genuinely do, but it's got a great song in there, and the chorus line on that is that there's beauty in breakdown. One of my favorite songs of all time, period, because it has that message for it. But this is my favorite kind of theme. It's like, yeah, you're flawed, you're broken, you're stupid, you've scarred. You're like, literally, they talk about scars, and it's like, yeah, guess what? We all kind of are, and we're all different in that way, and it's okay to be that way.
Right. Papa sees you, and Papa accepts you. Next track here. I meant to go look at the pronunciation of this Swedish word, and I forgot to. I do know it means Ghost Sonata in Swedish, and it is an instrumental. Before I get into my connection here, I didn't realize from this song. What did you think about this like 1 minute long track?
It's fine.
Yeah, I was reading an interview earlier today with someone from the band. I forget who it was, but basically saying there's kind of 2 big instrumental pieces here that are transitions from kind of a heavier part of the album as the album kind of grows heavier and heavier over a couple songs. This brings it back down, and then the album grows heavier again and brings it back down again. This one is really interesting, though. I recognized this melody from something, and I couldn't put my finger on it. It will be a song we talk about in the next album called Rats. It is the ending riff of that song is this song, which is wild. So
I just want a quick aside here.
Uh-huh.
When I came online to start recording this, I jumped into the chat that we have for Critical Misses, like the production chat. I was like, oh, I'll watch some videos while I'm waiting for Boston. This never normally happens, folks. Just don't. For once, it was me who was not late. And I clicked the video and I was like, wait, I didn't hear this song. What am I? Did I listen to the wrong album? Am I going to have to do another stupid thing where I think, no, you just preemptively put the next episode stuff in there?
Yep.
And I wasn't paying attention and literally clicked that video for Rats and I was like, uh-oh.
And you're like, I didn't... Was this on the album? Did I miss a track on the album?
Did it have like two tracks playing at once, one in each headphone kind of a situation?
Well, my thing I'm always worried about is like I listen to an album and I'm like, God, that album was so good. And like, yeah, the best song was track 11. I was like, yeah, it's... Wait, what? And I look and it's like 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. I was like, no. No, there's a track missing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Let me tell you, don't use Pandora to listen to albums because they will just give you like 10 songs and then be like, nope, you're done.
That's right. Hey, 10 songs from a bunch of different albums. Good luck. It's like, wait, what? Okay, sure. Next track here is He Is, the aforementioned love song. The very kind of stereotypical love song in a really great way. I like this song a lot, and I think it's especially fun to just hear them strip all the way back down, especially in the middle of this album, of just like, no man, we've done a bunch of guitar work, how about we do the acoustic song? It's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, it's really good. I really like this one.
Yeah. Did you get
is this the one is this the one that has like the random Latin just thrown in there in the middle of like verses? And it's like, yeah, okay, give me some Latin.
Yeah,
I like some Latin,
especially with how he pronounces it. Like, it's just he's rolling his R's, like he leans all the way into it in a way that I think really sells the whole thing. This is also, I think, one of the funnier videos too, because it starts off as like almost like a glamour shot video, like an 80s kind of love song video, and then it turns into this very clear allegory for like getting baptized in a river, except it's Papa with these kind of aviator sunglasses on who's dunking you in the water, and it's just like everything's very soft and like, and has that kind of like Vaseline covered bloom to it. It's really good. It's so good. Next track here though is pretty much the polar opposite here of Mummy Dust, which is a very like dun 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 dun, Mummy Dust. Very.
What is Mummy Dust? I'm confused.
What is the money, apparently.
Okay.
And not the most obvious of allegories here.
No, because I'm pretty sure they're talking about it's something that, in the song. I don't have the lyrics, so I can't check. But it's something in the song that rhymes with money, with mommy dust. And like, wait, is that just like meant to be directly like that?
Well, it's like the chorus is "In God You Trust, my mummy dust," and it's like, okay, but also the very first verse starts with,
that makes sense if you're an American.
Yeah, because it's on the money. Like if you're not, it's also weird for a Swedish band. But like the very first verse opens with, "I was carried on a wolf's pack here to corrupt humanity," and I was like, "Dang, okay, that's pretty." You're like leaning into some good metal
Wait, carried on a Wolf's Pack, like part of the NWO?
No,
Sorry, that was
Wolf's
a
back.
wrestling reference. A Wolf's Pack.
Yeah.
Okay, different wrestling organization.
That's right. Yes, yes, yes. I This is my least favorite song on the album, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I think it's just the weakest of everything on this
Yeah,
album.
but it's to use the parlance of the kids, it's very mid. Well, that
Yeah,
was like
and
2 years ago, the parlance of the kids, but
that's right.
whatever.
I do appreciate that he's doing something different vocally here. And there's like a fun keyboard solo in the middle. I think it's a cool idea. I just don't think it's not the one I'm racing to when I'm listening to this album. Kind of the long and short of it.
Yeah.
Next track here, though, is Majesty. Um, I adore how this track starts off as like this dyed in the wool, blasting it from your 8-track 70s or 80s like straight rock jam, and then once the intro is done and the guitar, like the main guitar and the frankly underrated bass track in this comes in and solidifies, it's like, oh, okay, you got something pretty cool going on here.
This happened twice during the recording or the listening to of this album. Um, I was vibing so hard I didn't take notes.
That you can't come up with a better review than I was just
It happened
enjoying the
twice. This
jam.
is the first time it happened.
Okay. Um, I love this one. Every time I start listening to this album, I get to this track and I hear the verses are so different from the chorus, and the chorus comes in and the his delivery is so different. I'm like, man, I just don't know if that works. But every time the chorus comes back, I'm just like, no, yeah, that works. That's really good. And then when there's additional uh, vocalists that come in the background at the end, it's just like, yeah, man, I don't know what it is about this one, but it really works. And then having the guitar that dun 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 dun, dun like just, it's so good. Should release this as a single, guys. This one's so good. Oh man. All right. Anything else about that one?
No, I literally did not take notes.
Okay. Next track is Devil Church. It is another 1-minute instrumental. This was another one that I was surprised that this was supposed to be an intro to Cerise originally. Cerise was
Is this? I think this is the one where like because it's very difficult for me to listen to these for the record. Like I have to basically go on YouTube and watch a YouTube playlist.
Yeah.
With all of the ads that entails. And I think the top comment on this one was like, "Yeah, this was 9 minutes long originally."
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Like apparently this and the combination of this and Cerise originally was like this 9-minute long vocals free instrumental, and I was like, you made the right choice by doing what you did. Next track here, Absolution, which is God, so good.
My notes here say, "Look, I forgot to take notes because I was vibing."
Uh-huh.
This is the second one.
God, this is another one that like you can see this being really great with everybody in the crowd singing the chorus to this, especially. This is just another one that's so, it's just an incredibly solid rock track. And I don't know what to add to it other than here's another outstanding track from this album. Good enough to not take notes, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. And last track here, Deus in Absentia, which is the first off, didn't we listen to what's Monstrance Clock from? Isn't that from the last album?
That's the last album.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really like that this track opens with the ticking clock, which Monstrance Clock did not, which I think is really great. I think this is my favorite out of all 5 Ghost albums I've listened to. We haven't listened to the new album yet. I think this is my favorite underrated Ghost track. Um, I think this is it's such a different song in the verses. I like that kind of slow build up, that kind of like keyboard build up into him sort of delivering, and that really solid chorus. I think sells this really, really well.
Yeah, and I love I love a good choir, a good choral arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
And this has got some really heavy slash nice slash great choral arrangements going throughout.
And I think it feels the most out of, I think, anything we've listened to from Ghost so far. I think it feels the most uh, kind of like theatrical, operatic. Like it feels very big. It feels like a song that you want to play on a big stage. It feels like something that could be in a play or something. Like uh, it feels very big in that way that I think really works for it. Um,
Yeah.
God, it's so good. This is the track I was listening to today, where I'm like, all right, I need to listen to some of these tracks again just to make sure they're fresh right before we start recording this. And I just listened to this a couple times in a row.
Hmm.
So I was like, I think that's the best review that I could do here. Um, all right, what are your before we talk about kind of some related things and homework before the next album? What are your overall thoughts here on Meliora?
Pretty solid. I think the individual tracks on this are probably my favorite so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna say correctly, but the one I keep calling Circle
Mm-hmm. Cerise.
is thank you.
Yep.
Is probably my favorite song I've listened to so far from them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last one was probably a better overall vibe,
Okay, the
like
previous
a better
album.
overall album.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the singular tracks on this are better,
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
Like the single tracks on this album are so much better than the previous ones.
Mm-hmm. I this is my favorite Ghost album by far. Like the head and shoulders above all the other stuff. And I think for me, I agree with you that I think each individual track is really solid. I don't think it comes together as well. I don't think it's as cohesive as a sound as the two previous albums. I agree with you that I think Infestessimum sounds more cohesive overall and kind of like a track to track basis. Um, but I think for me, the strength of so many of these songs, especially Cerise, I think just really, really nails it. And this is one of those albums that I love where it's like, all right, this thing is like 35 minutes long. We're getting in. We're just gonna have some incredible rock tracks, and then we're getting out. Um, and it it's interesting too. I think when you look at the Ghosts albums overall, that I think for me this is the high point of Ghost. I don't really want to like poison the well for future albums, but I think
Don't worry, I'll forget what you said by the time that we finish recording the next episode
yeah,
of recording, not the next episode of this.
right, right. um, so I think for me that's a little bit of an interesting kind of hindsight thing of like, okay, this is the era of, it's my favorite Papa. I think the third Papa is really great with like the shorter kind of slick back hair and the like he doesn't have
Mhm.
the robes on anymore. He has kind of a more slim fitting suit. Papa 2 is great. Like I don't want to besmirch the good name of Papa 2, but this is the one I think I like the most. And yeah,
Yeah.
this album's so good, and Cerise is so good. So is that video. Again, I just want to talk about how good that
Yes.
video is, man. Um, okay, so related songs. There was a song released around this time called Zenith, which was originally this like ultra limited vinyl track from some vinyl. You know how that goes. Um, I really wish that was on this album, as that song is really, really great. It's like a 6.5 minute long. It sounds like something from the previous two albums, where it's this kind of very kind of fuzzy 70s sort of thing. So I'd recommend people go
Mhm.
listen to that one. The EP we were talking about before was Pope Star. That has Squarehammer, which we talked about in the first episode. I also didn't realize that Squarehammer, when it was released in the U.S., was #1 on the mainstream rock chart in the U.S., which is the first Swedish band to do that on that chart in the U.S., which
Good for them.
is surprising and also good for them because like that song is really great. Moon and I were talking about the Pope Star, we're talking about If You Have Ghost, the other EP we were listening to before. Those are fine. Like I I I think Moon, you said that you hadn't heard any of the original versions, so like as covers, they're maybe
Correct.
less impactful. Um,
Yep.
to me, I think that's the double-edged sword of Ghost covers. We'll talk about an album in the future that has covers of songs that we know. There's especially a Mad Max song on one of them, which is wild, having just covered that season and that song coming out of Ghost. Um, but I think these are good songs, uh, but as covers, it's sort of like cool. I haven't really heard. I don't really know these songs.
Hmm.
Um, I do really like the live version of Secular Haze that they have on there. Um, kind of like
It's a
a
pretty good cover.
it's a
A pretty good version, I should say. As somebody who does not like live music, that's actually not bad.
it's a I like that it's a heavier version too. Like it's a little bit, it
Hmm.
feels very much like a live version of like it's the same song, but it's just we leaned into the heaviness of it here a little bit. The only homework to do for this one, if anyone wants to listen to it, is their Ghost's first album. Sorry, Ghost's first live album. We already talked about their first album. First live album, Ceremony and Devotion, was released in 2017. It's pretty solid. I don't know if I would 100% say that you like need to go race out and listen to it, but I think if you're looking for more Ghost and you're looking for kind of a really solid live album, I think you should go check that out. They have another live album that we'll talk about in the future. We won't be covering it on the show. But if you want to listen to one live album, you should probably watch Right Here, Right Now, which is their kind of
Hmm.
performance of that album. So, um, okay. So, that is Meliora. The next album that we're going to be covering is Prequel, which is their 2018 album. And hopefully you will join us for that. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.